Welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. Gentlemen, picture this. It's early morning. The kind of morning where the air still feels cool in your lungs, the light spills through the blinds in thin gold lines, and you're standing in your kitchen with that first glass of water in your hand. The ice clinks softly. You take a long sip and it feels sharp, clean, almost electric. But what if I told you that single moment, the one you repeat every single day without a second thought, could be the reason your nights no longer feel the way they used to? That one habit done at the wrong time could quietly choke the very blood flow that makes a man feel alive, confident, and in control. Today, we're going to break this down. I'll explain exactly why cold water, yes, something as pure and harmless as water, can be a silent erection killer for men over 60. You'll learn how it triggers your body to work against you, why age makes this effect even worse, and the simple changes that could protect not just your performance but your confidence as a man. And before we start peeling back the layers, do me one small favor. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. And give this video a like, not because I need numbers, but because every single like tells me and my team this matters. Keep going. Your click is the fuel that lets us make more of these episodes, dig deeper into men's health, and share the science no one else is talking about. So let's get started, because in the next few minutes I'm going to take you inside your own blood vessels and show you why something so simple, so ordinary, might be quietly rewriting your sex life, and exactly how to take that control back. The hidden morning habit that hurts erections. Gentlemen, think about the first thing you put in your body each morning. For some, it's a hot mug of coffee. For others, it's that tall, frosted glass of water from the fridge, beads of condensation sliding down the side, ice cubes chiming against the glass like a little morning bell. You tip it back, and that icy rush slides down your throat, jolts your chest, wakes you up in an instant. It feels good, doesn't it? It feels right. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That same refreshing shock you crave could be setting off a chain reaction that quietly works against you, one that steals strength from the very part of your body you want at its best. You see, your body is a survival machine. When that cold water hits, it's like throwing open the window in the middle of winter. Your system reacts instantly, pulling blood back toward your core to protect your vital organs. It's smart. It's automatic, and it's the exact opposite of what you need if you want strong, reliable blood flow down there. Now imagine this. Your blood vessels first thing in the morning are like narrow country roads just after sunrise, still quiet, a little stiff from the night. What they need is a gentle warm-up, not a traffic jam. But when you slam them with ice water, you're not just waking them up, you're making them squeeze tighter, right at the time you need them to open wide. Most men never connect this tiny habit with the changes they've noticed in their nights: slower starts, weaker stamina, and that creeping doubt that maybe this is just aging. But it's not just aging. It's biology reacting to your choices every single day. And here's the twist: this isn't just about what you drink. It's about when and how. Because the same water that can quietly sabotage your performance can also be one of your greatest allies, if you know the right way to use it. That's exactly what we're going to start unpacking next. And once you understand the real foundation of every single erection you've ever had, you'll see why this tiny detail matters more than you think. 2. Why erections depend on blood flow. Gentlemen, if there's one lesson I've learned after more than 3 decades of sitting across from men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, it's this: every erection you've ever had, every single one, comes down to one thing: blood flow. Strip away all the mystery, the myths, the late-night commercials selling magic pills, and what you're left with is a simple truth. If the blood can't get there and stay there, nothing else matters. Here's how it's supposed to work. When you're aroused, your brain sends an electrical whisper down your spinal cord, straight to the nerves in your penis. Those nerves release nitric oxide, a chemical signal telling the blood vessels, relax, open up, let the flood in. And for a moment, you become a priority destination. Blood rushes in, filling 2 chambers, the corpora cavernosa, stretching and pressing until every fiber is taut. That's what gives you the strength, the stamina, the confidence. But here's where time rewrites the rules. Over decades, the smooth lining inside your vessels takes hits: little scars from high blood pressure, tiny deposits of cholesterol, stiffness from years of wear. Your nitric oxide levels start to dip. That electrical whisper from your brain, it's not quite as loud, not quite as urgent as it once was. Picture it like this. When you were 30, your arteries were 6-lane highways, smooth and wide open. At 60, they're more like 2-lane country roads with a few potholes. The blood still moves, but slower with more effort and a lot more ways to get stuck in traffic. And this is the critical point if your erections depend entirely on blood flow and your roads are already narrowed and sensitive. What happens when you throw in a habit that makes them squeeze even tighter? That's the danger we're talking about. In a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how something as innocent as cold water can set off that constriction, and why the effect hits men over 60 harder than they realize. Once you see this chain reaction, you'll never look at that glass of ice water the same way again. 3. How cold water triggers vasoconstriction. Gentlemen, your body is built for survival in ways you probably don't even think about. And one of the fastest, most primal survival reflexes you have is what happens the moment sudden cold hits your system. It could be stepping into a frigid lake, feeling that sharp bite in your chest, or it could be something far more ordinary, a mouthful of ice water sliding down into your core. Either way, your body reacts the same way it has for thousands of years. It tightens the pipes. This reflex has a name: vasoconstriction. The blood vessels in your skin, your fingers, your toes, even your pelvis narrow instantly. It's your body saying, we need to protect the heart, the brain, the lungs, pull the heat in, guard the core. A brilliant strategy when you're fighting hypothermia. But when you're trying to prepare for intimacy, it's like locking the door just as your most important guest is about to arrive. For a younger man with arteries still wide and elastic, this sudden clamping might be a blip, a momentary squeeze quickly reversed. But for a man over 60, your vessels are more like weathered garden hoses, stiffer, less responsive. When they tighten, they stay that way longer. Imagine trying to water your garden with a hose that's been stepped on, the pressure drops, the flow weakens. And those flowers never quite perk up. In this case, those flowers are the tissues in your penis waiting for that surge of blood that gives them life. And here's the part most men miss: you don't notice it in the moment. You drink, you move on with your day, but later when the time comes, the performance isn't there. The firmness isn't there, and you chalk it up to age, never realizing your own morning habit helped set the stage. Now that you understand this hidden reflex, the next question becomes obvious. When are you most likely to trigger it in a way that really hurts your performance? Because there are specific moments when drinking cold water is like putting one foot on the gas and the other on the brake, and we're about to break those down next. 3 common mistakes older men make. Gentlemen, over the years I've noticed something. Men will sit across from me and say, "Doc, I drink plenty of water. I'm always hydrated, so why am I still struggling?" And every time I ask them when and how they drink it, that's when the light bulb goes off, because the same glass of water that keeps you healthy can, in the wrong moment, quietly sabotage your performance. Mistake number 1, chugging a big glass of ice water first thing in the morning. Think about what your body's been through overnight. Hours without fluids, mild dehydration, blood vessels already a little tight from sleep. Your circulation is just waking up like an engine on a cold winter morning. And instead of warming it gently, you dump a bucket of ice into the system. Those vessels clamp down harder, slowing the very blood flow you need to set the tone for the day. Mistake number 2, drinking ice water right before intimacy. This one's the silent killer. You need your vessels wide open, ready to flood your most important tissues with blood, but you've just sent them the opposite command: close up, tighten down. That's driving with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You're working against yourself without even realizing it. Mistake number 3, downing cold water immediately after a heavy meal. Your digestive system is already pulling blood toward your gut to handle the food. Add the cold water constriction and you're diverting even more blood away from where you might need it later. By the time your body resets, the moment could be long gone. Most men don't realize timing matters this much. They think of water as always good, always safe. And yes, water is life. But water at the wrong time, in the wrong temperature, can be the quiet thief of your strength, your stamina, and your confidence. And here's where things get even more serious. These mistakes don't hit every man the same way. If you're over 60, the effect can be magnified in ways younger men would barely notice. In a moment, I'll explain exactly why, and once you hear it, you'll understand why these habits are far more dangerous at your age than you've ever been told. 5. Why men over 60 are more at risk. Gentlemen, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. "Doc, I've been doing the same thing for years. Why is it suddenly a problem now?" And my answer is always the same: because your body today is not the same body you had 20 or 30 years ago. That's not criticism, that's biology. As the decades pass, your blood vessels go through a slow, relentless transformation. The smooth inner walls that once flexed like new leather begin to stiffen, like an old garden hose left out in the sun. Tiny scars from high blood pressure, narrowing from decades of cholesterol buildup, even micro tears from daily wear that never fully heal, and that's just the plumbing. The chemical signals that tell those vessels to open nitric oxide don't flow as freely either. It's like sending an urgent message down the line and finding the phone lines crackling. The voice on the other end faint. Your testosterone, the hormone that fuels not just desire but the nerve signals that spark an erection, has likely dipped too. And nerves themselves, they don't carry messages as fast or as strong as they once did. Now put that all together: narrower pipes, weaker signals, slower response, and you have a system that's already working harder to give you the same result. Then add in sudden cold from that ice water. And it's like asking an aging sprinter to start a race uphill in the middle of winter wearing a weight vest. A younger man's body bounces back quickly from a constriction. Yours takes longer, and those minutes matter. Because when the moment comes, you either have the blood flow you need or you don't. There's no middle ground. This is why the little things matter more after 60. It's why the same habit that barely touched you at 40 can be the deciding factor between a night of confidence and a night of frustration today. And here's the good news: the fix isn't complicated. You don't need to give up water. You just need to know how to drink it in a way that works with your body instead of against it. In a moment, I'm going to give you a simple, step-by-step way to make water your ally again, starting tomorrow morning. 6. The right way to drink water for sexual health. Gentlemen, water itself is not the enemy. In fact, it's your greatest ally if you know how to use it right. The difference between it helping you and hurting you often comes down to nothing more than timing, temperature, and pace. Start your day gently. When you wake up, your body is like a well-tuned car that's been sitting in the garage overnight, the engine cold, the oil settled. You don't slam your foot on the gas the moment you turn the key. You let it warm up. The same principle applies to your circulation. Reach for a glass of lukewarm or room temperature water first thing in the morning. It coaxes your blood vessels to open rather than shocking them into tightening. That sets the tone for the rest of the day: a steady, ready flow instead of a sluggish start. If you love cold water, sip, don't chug, taking small, steady sips gives your body time to adapt without triggering the full close the gates reflex. Think of it as easing into a cold pool rather than cannonballing in. You still get the refreshment but without the penalty. Before intimacy, give it time. If you've had cold water, wait at least 45 minutes, ideally an hour, before expecting your body to perform at its peak. That gives your vessels time to relax again, so when desire sparks, blood can rush in freely. And here's one more layer. Hydration is a 24-hour commitment. Don't wait until you're thirsty to drink. Sip throughout the day so your blood volume and pressure stay in the sweet spot for strong, reliable erections. Bonus points if you pair that with circulation-friendly habits like a brisk walk after lunch or adding nitrate-rich foods like beets, spinach, or arugula to your plate. When you make these adjustments, something shifts. Your body stops working against you and starts working for you, and those off nights, they become fewer, further apart until they fade into the background. But here's the thing most men overlook: this isn't just about blood flow. Ignore it long enough and the cost spills over into parts of your life you might not expect. In a moment, I'll show you how something as simple as the way you drink water can reach far beyond the bedroom and into the way you see yourself as a man. 7. The emotional toll of weaker erections. Gentlemen, let's be honest. When a man starts losing his edge in the bedroom, it's never just about what happens under the sheets. It reaches into every corner of his life: how he carries himself, how he speaks, even how he looks in the mirror in the morning. I've had men walk into my office with perfect blood test results, steady heartbeats, and clean bills of health. But the moment the conversation turns to intimacy, their voice drops, their shoulders sink. They don't have to say much, you can feel the weight in the silence. It starts small. Maybe you hesitate before making the first move. Maybe you find reasons to be tired that night. Maybe you start convincing yourself that passion is for younger men, and then without realizing it, the distance between you and your partner isn't just physical, it's emotional. You still love each other, but that spark, that unspoken connection has dimmed. I remember a man named Walter, 67, who told me, "Doc, it's not about sex anymore. It's about feeling invisible in my own marriage." That's the part most men won't say out loud: the fear that they're slowly fading into the background of their own lives. And it's not just about your partner, it's about you. Because the truth is, intimacy is one of the last frontiers of youth we can hold onto. When it starts to slip, a man feels it in his posture, in the way he shakes another man's hand, in the way he walks into a room. It's not vanity, it's identity. Here's the cruel irony: so much of this decline is not inevitable. It's not just getting old. Often, it's the result of small, silent choices made every day, like the way you drink your water in the morning, that slowly chip away at your body's ability to deliver when it counts. And that's why what comes next is so important, because there is a way to tip the balance back. One small, almost effortless change you can make tomorrow morning could begin to shift your biology, and with it, your confidence in the right direction. It's not hype. It's not theory. It's the kind of habit change that can ripple through every part of your life. 8. The one small change that restores morning confidence. Gentlemen, tomorrow morning, I want you to try something so simple it might sound almost silly. Skip the ice. Skip the chill. Start your day with warm water. I can already hear some of you chuckle. That's it. That's your big secret. But listen closely, because when you understand what happens inside your body in that first hour after waking, you'll realize why this tiny change can pay off in a big way. After a night's sleep, your body is like a well-built machine left in the garage overnight. The fluids have settled, the engine is cool, your circulation is in low gear, your blood vessels, those highways that carry the very life force of your erections, are slightly constricted. That first drink you take is like the flag that starts the race. Now, if that drink is ice cold, you're telling your vessels, tighten even more. You're starting the race with the brakes on. But if it's warm or even just room temperature, you send the opposite signal. It's safe to open, let the blood flow. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s have come back to me after making this change, sometimes shaking their heads saying, "Doc, I thought you were overselling it." But within a week, I felt different, not just in the bedroom, in the way I walked, the way I stood, the way I thought about myself. Why? Because this isn't a gimmick. It's biology in your favor. Warm water first thing in the morning gently rehydrates you, boosts blood volume, and gives your vascular system a head start. That means more oxygen, more nutrient delivery, and yes, more of the kind of circulation that matters when intimacy calls. And here's the beauty: it's free. It doesn't require prescriptions, gadgets, or a new diet. You don't have to rearrange your life. You just swap one habit for another. You'll feel the change not in a single dramatic moment, but in the steady return of something you thought you'd lost, that quiet, unshakable confidence that says, "I'm still him." But as simple as it is, this change is just the first step. Because protecting your erections is really about protecting your overall circulation, your vitality, and your sense of self. In the final part of today's talk, I'm going to pull all of this together so you understand not only why it works, but how to build on it for results that last for years to come. 9. Final word. Gentlemen, we've covered a lot today, but it all circles back to one truth. Your erections are a reflection of your circulation, and your circulation is shaped by the choices you make every single day. We talked about how ice-cold water at the wrong moment can quietly tighten your blood vessels and work against you. We looked at why this effect hits harder after 60 and how a single, simple change, starting your day with warm water, can tip the balance back in your favor. And here's the part I want you to remember: small, consistent actions build the kind of results that last. You don't have to overhaul your life in one dramatic move. You just have to start and keep going. Now, if you've been listening and thinking, "I need to try this," then I have a small favor to ask. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button so you don't miss the next episode. If you haven't clicked like, do it now, not just for me, but because every like tells us this matters. Keep doing this work. And if you know a friend, a brother, or a neighbor who could use this advice, share this with them. You might be giving them back something they thought they'd lost. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a question or your own experience in the comments. I do read them. And your words often spark the topics we cover next. This podcast isn't just me talking to you, it's a conversation we're building together. So here's to your health, your confidence, and the best years still ahead of you. Gentlemen, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.